Thanks so much, Michael. Now, in 2 weeks' time, the federal government's going to introduce changes to superannuation, which could have a big effect on millions of Australians. The Association of Superannuation Funds says more than half of us are unaware of the shake-up and what exactly is going to be a consequence of it and what's changing on July the 1st. So how do you know if you're affected? Well, you'll have to pay attention to our Consumer Affairs reporter, Amy Bainbridge, and she'll help you out. Amy, good morning. Nice to see you there. All right, so what's changing on the 1st?
Quite a lot. So we've had a pretty short lead time into the 1st of July. The government passed this legislation called Protecting Your Super in February this year. That was on the back of multiple reports about what's going wrong with our superannuation system. The biggest change on the 1st of July is that if you have a small account, $6,000 or less, that will be taken by the tax office and linked up to other accounts. Or if you have an account that you haven't contributed to for 16 months or more, that will be deemed an inactive account. Now, the most important outcome of that is that if you've been paying premiums for life insurance or total permanent disability insurance, that insurance will lapse if you don't contact your fund by July the 1st.
Now, this is important because you can have multiple life insurance accounts. There's nothing wrong with that. You're allowed to, and people might think that they're just going to have them rolling along in case of. But unless you do something about it, they'll scrap it.
Yes, and the premise of this is sound. The point is to stop inactive accounts being eaten up or cannibalised by fees. Yeah. So the whole premise of this legislation was to stop that. But the point is that many people don't have life insurance or TPD insurance outside their superannuation fund. Some people aren't even aware that they've been paying fees towards those policies for a large number of years. So you're entitled to something you have been paying for. But if you don't act, if it's an inactive account that you haven't been contributing to, then those policies will lapse. You might have been out travelling, you might have been off work having a baby, you might live in a regional and remote area where you've had multiple jobs and haven't contributed to certain funds for a while. That's why you need to act.
And that includes income protection insurance as well?
Yes, it does. Slightly different for income protection though. There's different rules around that. Yep. Now, if you want to know exactly what policies you have with your super account, you need to open your emails, open the letters in the mail, respond to the text messages. Super funds have been sending text messages out to some members.
You're clearly well aware of consumer behaviour because a lot of that stuff just goes unopened.
I think this point's a really big problem with the superannuation industry. That is, people aren't engaged, they're not interested. And there's been, as you said in your introduction, there's been some new research out lately about people just not being aware of the changes, but also 20% of people say they don't even open the mail to do with their super.
And we know that the ATO and others have been trying to, and the Superannuation Corporation trying to let people know that they have accounts somewhere. There's the old Find Your Super website, which is a worthwhile thing looking at as well. All right, so if people do absolutely nothing, what's the worst that can happen?
The very worst case scenario, which is what the industry is quite concerned about, because as we know, insurance industry gets a bad rap at times, is that something will happen to you. You'll think that you can claim on a policy, you go to make a claim and you find out that your insurance has lapsed. You weren't aware of these changes and you didn't opt in, you didn't let your super fund know that you wanted to continue the insurance. So that is a worst case scenario situation. Something happens, you're unable to work, you pass away, a family member passes away, you go to claim on a policy, the insurance has lapsed because of these changes. Yeah, so what you need to do is that you need to contact your fund. Look, some people might want to get out of their insurance policies. They might think they're paying too much in fees. Well, if that's the case, at least make an informed decision about that and have a look at your statements, have a look at your fees and see what's getting you the best deal.
What should all of us do anyway? Because we all have some kind of super account, or a superannuation account or another. What should we be doing here?
Well, the estimate is that 3 million accounts could be affected by these changes on July the 1st. You can go to the industry website. They've launched an information campaign. It's called timetocheck.com. Or you can go to the ATO website as well. You need to log into your MyGov account and link your ATO account to that.
That's a really important thing. If you don't have a MyGov account, it's probably time time you created one, because so many services go through there. So log on and you can link it up. And the ATO won't be taking that money. They'll just be hopefully linking it up with another account that you have.
Well, that's the ideal scenario. And then, of course, you get all the benefits of compound interest and that kind of thing. Because if you have a lot of low balance accounts, then really they're not doing much for you.
That's very true.
So the premise is sound, but you need to get informed about what your options are.
Amy, I'm glad you could join us. Thanks for updating us today.
Thanks, Virginia.
Thank you. So log on. You need to make some changes there. Don't just let those letters lie unopened. Over to Michael now.